Hi, my name's Imogen and I'm the founder of iMoves.
And my name's Gay and I'm lead presenter with iMoves.
We are super passionate about supporting teachers to get their children much more active throughout the school day and also teaching tricky subjects like dance and gymnastics. So today we're focusing on dance and how to teach primary dance with confidence. So here's a question: how do you feel about teaching dance in school? So let's have a look at this slide and this sliding scale. Are you a 1 or a 2 and feel a little daunted by teaching dance? Are you a 3 or a 4 and feel happy to have a go with a bit more training? Or are you super confident and at a 5 and feel that you just need a few more ideas, or you want to try and deliver a little bit of staff training in school around delivering dance yourself rather than bringing coaches in? Wherever you're at this session, we'll give you the tools to feel super confident delivering any age range in dance. So before we move on, I'd just like to introduce you to the concept of cats and dogs, where we categorise children into whether they are keen or whether they feel a little bit more apprehensive around being involved in a dance lesson. So your dogs are at the front, they want to do everything to do with dance. They're really keen, really enthusiastic, whereas your cats are standing back, they're a little bit more awkward and they're a little bit more apprehensive in joining in and moving in front of their peers. We'll look at this in a little bit more depth later, but throughout this session we'll be referring to cats and dogs. So that's what we're talking about. So always start with your music. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, I mean, children need to be able to move in time to the music, and if they haven't got it in their head before they start, it's really difficult for them to start moving and listen to the music as well. So they need the music first, don't they?
They need to understand the structure, and this is how we're going to help you to deliver that particular part of the dance lesson now.
So remember that music is the very foundation of what we do in dance. It is the inspiration, it's the excitement, it builds the story, it tells you the moves you're going to do, and it can get those cats really engaged from the start because they hear that really great music and they think, wow, I'm going to get involved in this. Yeah. So it's really important, isn't it, to get that really good music. So try something with a really easy beat for them to follow. Take in really easy baby steps and it'll just build their confidence so they feel really great and ready to start dancing.
Yeah, it's hooking them in very, very early with something that they feel much more confident with. So it kind of banishes any ideas they may have about dance. And it's for ballerinas when it's not. No. It's for everybody. So yeah, hook those cats in with some really good funky music from the very top. So here's what we're going to do first. I always sit my children in a semicircle to do this little bit, and we sit and we play the music mix of my choice. So today we're going to look at samba because it's got a nice strong beat. So we'll just get the children nodding in time to the regular beat. Here we go. So you'll be able to assess the group on how well they can hear that beat. So we're nodding in time to the regular beat. Once they've got that, ask them to count out the 8 counts phrase. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's it. Now, once they've got that, you can ask them to shout 1 and put their hand upon the 1. So they're really sure on where that 1 is. Make a big deal of that. We'll tell you later why. 1. And the cats love this because they just feel like, oh, you know what? I can shout 1, I can put my hand upon the 1, I feel confident with the music, and therefore they're engaged from the start. 1. Brilliant, thank you. So that's the first little bit of your beat and phrase workshop. So once they feel confident with the regular beat and finding that 1 in the music, we can then expand that by looking at the structure of a 32 count block of music. And the reason we do that is because a lot of popular music that we use in schools to get the kids engaged is structured in a 32 count block. It might be a verse or chorus with a little bit of an instrumental, but generally that's what they're used to listening to. So therefore it's a good place to start, isn't it? Yeah, so here we go then. We're going to have a look at how we can develop their knowledge around listening for and hearing a 32 count block of music. So let's try and develop that knowledge around the 32 count block. So let's pop the music back on again. So now we're looking for a 32 count structure. So we're looking for the first count, which we're going to call the big one. Here we go. Big one. Small one. Another small one. Last one. And then round to the beginning, big one. Woo! And getting the kids to understand this structure will really help them to start creating their own movement, won't it?
Yeah, it's really important as well that they can do this themselves rather than relying on the teacher all the time, because then the teacher can take a step back away from that real focus on music and take a look at what's going on in the room and really enjoying with the children and their dance moves rather than being so solely focused on the music.
Big one. Yeah, so you keep your eye on the music, your ear on the music, small one.
So we're going to use this activity to cement this learning so the children really get to understand what they're doing in a more practical way. We're going to use little coloured spots for the little ones so that we can really get them to move around but still under it in a controlled way. And then after that we'll show you something for the bigger ones in a minute.
So let's have a look at how we can structure this activity for the little ones. So here are Jack and Morgan, waiting for the music to start, and then we'll just get them to bob along to the music, clapping along or slapping their knees, and then walking in between each spot. And we do this for 8 beats each. So 8 beats bobbing along and 8 beats moving to the next spot. Dead easy, really easy to manage, really easy to facilitate. Once you've got them going, you can then start to change up the movement. So they don't clap anymore, they might do something like a roll. So let's have a look. Here we go. I might do that for a couple of bars of 8, counting them through so everyone's really getting to understand the structure. So we might add some jumping a bit further down the line as they're starting to warm up.
It's all about the 8s though, isn't it? It's just about getting those 8 counts over and over into their heads so that they really understand those 8s.
So they're changing the movement on the 1, not necessarily the big one at the moment because they're only little, but really focusing on those 8s when they're little is really useful.
So this next activity we're going to do for older children. We have them in 2 teams, one line down this side of the room, one line down this side of the room facing each other, and we're going to have a dance off. And the kids absolutely love this because they can really freestyle it out. They can do the moves they want. You're not going to give them any crazy tricky choreography. They come up with the moves all themselves, and it's just about sticking to those blocks of 8, starting on the big one, working in 4 blocks of 8, and then going back to the beginning and starting again on that big one. So it's a really nice way to embed this. So if we have a look at the video, we've got Jack and Morgan showing you this. So we're just at the minute showing them in their 2 lines, marching, ready for the music to start. Getting ready with the introduction, and then they're going to walk towards each other for 8, and they're not going to get too close. They need to stay quite away from each other. Second block of 8, freestyle, whatever they want to do. Third block of 8, move away back to their start position. Fourth block of 8, they give it some attitude. Really simple. And then they go again. First block of 8, in together. Second block of 8, freestyle. Third block of 8, go back to where they started.
Really going for it.
Fourth block of 8, giving it some welly at the end there. You can see there's not tricky moves. The kids are doing their own freestyle moves, and they're just really sticking or trying to stick to those blocks of 8, and it's a really nice way to embed that, isn't it?
It's so easy to facilitate this activity. You can do anything with it. And I think the main thing is that hooking those cats in again, isn't it?
Letting them have so much fun that they forget that they're actually dancing.
Yeah, and they're all just coming together, they're giving it some kind of attitude, and let's face it, they've got plenty of that. So they're giving it some attitude, they're giving each other some eyeball, and they're really going for it, and it's just so much fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone is in stitches by the end of it. And then all of a sudden you are the coolest teacher in town.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, you know, do this as a warm-up. You can do it as an entire lesson. We're going to show you how you can theme it in a moment as well. So yeah, absolutely, this is a must for any teacher. So we'd really like to share another version of this particular concept with you, and it's where they start to actually create something that's structured for 8, and we're going to call it the funky handshake walk, because they'll come in for 8 as normal, and then just give them a few moments to, in a pair, create their own funky handshake, whether it's claps or slaps or booms or whatever they want to do. Give them free rein, because they need to fit it into a block of 8, and this is their first opportunity to start to do a little bit of timing. And it is very funny, isn't it, watching them, because they'll try and fit so much into an 8-count block that they'll start to realise that actually we need to slow this down and make it a little bit more simple. So they start to think about timing. So let's have a look at Jack and Morgan doing theirs. It's exactly the same thing, rather than the freestyling a little bit when they come in. It's a funky handshake. So here we go. So we're marching on the spot. Walking in, here comes the funky handshake. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Walk back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then just pose it out at the end. And they love that, and they repeat. They get better and better and better at it, and then before you know it, they've created their own piece of choreography. And again, the cats, they're all over it, aren't they?
Yeah, because
absolutely.
It's not difficult. It's something that they might be doing anyway in the playground. They might already have these crazy funky handshakes or greetings. So it's something that they feel really cool doing, and that they don't feel silly, or they don't feel like, oh, I can't do that because it's not cool enough for me. They feel like, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, and then they start to get competitive as well. I've got the best handshake. Especially like the year 5, year 6 boys. So yeah, it's all very good stuff. So the next part of the workshop is all about getting the children to understand about timing. And the reason we do this is because it's going to help you as a teacher so much when it comes to facilitating the children doing their own choreography and getting them to structure it to that 32 count. So we're not just going to be using the regular beat, we're going to make it much more interesting by helping them to understand that there's a slow beat in that music and there's also a quick beat. So the slow beat is half time of the regular beat. We'll go through this in a moment. And the quick beat is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. There's a little tiny beat in between the regular beat, and that makes the quick beat. So if you've ever had children trying to choreograph something without this knowledge, it is quite funny, because you'll say, right, okay, I'd like you to put together some movement to fit into that 8-count block there. And they'll have no understanding of timing, and so they'll put far too much in, and they'll expect to go from the floor to the roof in one regular beat, and obviously it's just not doable. So by adding to them to do this kind of workshop, it really helps them, and it really helps you when you're facilitating a really good piece of choreography. So you do it slightly different to me though, don't you? So
I do, and simply because if the children are working on the regular beat all the time, it can get quite dull, can't it? Just watching that same almost marching action all the time. So adding these different speeds in can really make it interesting, not only for the people who are watching it, but for the people who are performing as well, because performing on that same beat all the time, it's a bit like a robot or a soldier, isn't it? It's very monotonous. So it makes it a lot more interesting to perform and to watch.
Okay, so what we'll do now, we'll pop some music on, and we'll just clap through those beats just so you're sure of what you're going to teach, and then we're going to show you how to structure this next part of the workshop. Okay, let's pop that samba music back on again. So here we go, we're going to start with the regular beat. That's nice and easy, we've done that loads already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we just get them clapping it out. maybe do 32 counts. Last block. And then we're going to slow that down. So we're going to go 1 and 3. 1, 3, 5, 7. Maybe ask them to count it out. So it's really clear, really simple. Okay, let's try quick beats. So it's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1 and 2. So a little bit quicker, needs a bit more control. Okay then, lovely, thank you. So that is regular, slow and quick. And the reason we do this is so they suddenly start to realise that when we do this next bit of workshop, that a regular beat, yeah, we can do quite a lot of movement in there, but we can get so much more movement in a slow beat. They can get down to the floor, it can be much more dynamic. Then you put a quick beat on and they very, very quickly realise that their movements has to be much smaller and much more concise. Of course, it obviously has to be very, very quick. So they then start to realise that, okay, I want to be using the slower movements, I'm going to use the slow beat. If I want to do something quite sharp and quite choppy, then we'll be working on that quick beat. And then they start to have a whole new world of choreography they can use just by using these 3 beats. It's quite amazing, really.
And I've done this with lots of teachers, and this is often an epiphany for teachers where they go, oh my goodness, I didn't realise that these beats were going on in all the pieces of music that we use, because they're there all the time. You just have to listen and pick them out.
Yeah, yeah. So the next thing we want to show you is a little activity around timing and how to structure that. So you will get your group of kids into 3 or 4 and ask them to create a movement that goes nicely with a regular beat, one that goes nicely with the slow beat and another for the quick. And just give them 4 or 5 minutes just to create these movements, nothing complicated, keep it simple. And this will just really help them to understand how much movement they can get nicely into each of those beats. So
it's just one movement over and over again, isn't it? It doesn't have to be, crazy loads of moves. It's just one move that they can repeat.
32 beats.
To really embed that timing into their head.
Yeah, so we'll show you now what we mean rather than just talk about it. So here we go. So here we are with the lovely Gay Holmes and Jack and Morgan, and they are just marching out to the beat. So first of all, we're going to do the regular beat. So we're just marching out, we're rolling high and low to fill the 8 beats. Nothing complicated, nothing
1,
to jazz
2,
hands.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Really hitting that beat every time.
Yeah. And now we're switching to that slow beat. So that's 1, 3, 5 and 7. And we're only kind of doing that 32 count block. So we're always going to change on that big 1. So here comes the quick beat. Here we go, a little wiggle. They've created that so it can just fit into that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1. And then we just repeat the whole thing from the regular beat. Okay, so the next little part is all about cueing. So I just want to show you a slide about this before we begin. So the last part of the music beat and phrase activities is all about cueing, and so it's not only for the teacher to develop this skill, but it's also for the kids to develop this skill and understanding where to start moving in the music and the timing of when we cue into the music. So that 5, 6, 7, 8 and begin. So that's what we mean about cueing. So this is a really lovely way to do this. So you'll set off the kids doing their regular, their slow, their quick movements, but now they'll start to add a layer of understanding of when to bring in that next movement by cueing. So we'll start at the very end of the 32 count block. So that last bar of 8, we'll use that bar of 8 to cue into the big 1. So we'll say, slow move, are you ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. Or if it's a quick move next, quick move, are you ready? 5, 6, 7, 8.
So we've put loads of emphasis on the music, and it is so important and so beneficial to the children, isn't it, for them to really understand this. And it just helps their attitude towards moving to music if they really understand it. It helps them so much. And it builds their confidence, doesn't it, if they get it, they understand it, and they think, yeah, I've got this, I can do this. It makes them super confident when it comes to moving to music.
But it's not just that, it's the kids, but it's the teachers as well. So
absolutely.
The teachers will just find it so much easier when the kids get it, and they're off doing their own thing, and they're coming back with their own ideas. And you'll find a lot of the time you will throughout your dance schemes, you'll be getting so much back from the kids that you'll be, I'm having that for next time, and you'll be just really building up your own kind of resources as well around what the kids are just developing themselves.
They come up with such great ideas, don't they?
Things you would never dream of. And, oh my goodness me, I'm having that because it works so well. So yeah, music is so important. So please don't put it on in the background and allow them to be feathers for 40 minutes because it's just not constructive.
Or pieces of litter.
Yeah, nothing like that, please. So really focus on that music, get the cats engaged, and you'll be off to a flying start. Another pain point that I hear from teachers is that I have not got the time to prepare new dance resources. This is all lovely, but where have I got the time? So here we go. Do you or your teaching colleagues find the prospect of teaching primary dance a little daunting? Maybe you feel like you have no real experience or understanding of where to start, what music to use, or how to teach the techniques. Many teachers I have worked with over the past 20 years in schools have felt like this. And that's why I created iMoves Dance, to help teachers just like you develop their own skills and enjoy teaching amazing dance lessons super confidently.
The first thing I realised is that I don't need to be a professional dance teacher to teach primary dance. Using the iMoves approach, I found that teaching dance to my class, armed with iMoves, is super easy, and the kids absolutely loved it too.
Having worked with so many teachers, all with the same worries around delivering dance, know you are in safe hands as an iMoves Dance member. You'll get access to our beautifully presented dance technique and inspiration movies to support you teaching all the tricky stuff. Our music is vibrant, modern and brilliantly designed to help children move in time to the music easily. Lesson plans and flashcards help you to structure the creative tasks into a confident performance.
The online CPD sessions really helped me to develop my dance teaching skills, and particularly around movement to music and beat and phrase. Imogen includes simple starter activities on all lesson plans around teaching children all about music structure to help them choreograph their own sequences so much more effectively. Honestly, once they had learned all of that, all I had to do was encourage them and then watch them go. It's amazing.
You'll get age-appropriate resources for each school year and resources that are suitable for every child, irrespective of their confidence or skill level. Our Free for Life account gives you access to a core selection of our resources with no commitment. And as a special welcome bonus, you'll also get 14 days complimentary access to our premium resources.
So why not join now and do what I did and give it a go? Just enter your details here and let's get active every day.
So I think it's time to say goodbye.
Yes, I hope you've had a really good time with us. We've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I hope you've got lots out of it, and I hope it's really helped you to start on your dance teaching journey.
And please get in touch if you want any advice around teaching dance at primary level. We're always at the end of a phone or at the end of an email, so you can always just send us a quick note and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. But good luck teaching. It's so wonderfully easy when you use our approaches and use our really super simple resources to help you structure your lessons. So off you go. Happy teaching, and
let us know how you get on.
Yeah, please do. Take care and we'll see you next time.
Bye.